Welcome to the second segmented speedrun on this channel of Speedrun 4. Today, I'm just going to be going over some things about some runs. So this is trying to start the timer here. Alright, so first of all, I'd like to apologize for being a bit late on this speedrun. It was supposed to be posted yesterday. The reason it wasn't is simply because I had some commentary issues, but I resolved those, and now we're back. So essentially, if you don't know what a segmented speedrun is, it's like a speedrun with a ton of little segments spliced together. So for this speedrun, I took essentially the first level I did from the day 46 run and put it with the second level from day 47, which is what you're watching right now. And then the third level is going to be from the day 48 speedrun, and that goes all the way from 46 to 90, which is the one I did yesterday. So right now, this is actually in a pretty decent stretch I had here. From days 46 to 49, I had 4 PBs in a row, which is pretty crazy considering I barely ever PB on this game. And so what you're looking at on the left side of the screen, the timer on that side, is going to be the timer that was there for that specific run. So like the left timer right here is from the day 48 run. The timer you're seeing on the right is the one that is running right now. And the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see how long each segment is, just for fun. This is actually the day 49 run. You can probably tell because I have a bunch of 49er gear on, and I wanted to be spec. It was the 5th PB I had in a row, spanning 2 segments, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, this was a pretty good run. This is still my best run yet. I believe it's like a 20 minute 20 second, like 81 seconds. I don't know. Here's actually day 50. So what had actually happened is that after day 49, I kind of quit speedrunning. And then I thought, you know what? I don't want to quit speedrunning. But that was like 20 days afterwards. So every single run from now you're going to see is runs that happen like literally in the past 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy. So here's day 51. Level 6 Lava Land. I mean Iceland. What the fuck? Not Lava Land. Yeah, most of these early levels are really simple, really easy platforming. Yeah, you'll notice I'm sort of, obviously cutting corners here because that's what you fucking do in a speedrun. But yeah, level 6 is pretty straightforward. Used to be a glitch on there, it doesn't work anymore. Here's level 7, which is the Rainbow World. It's, again, really straightforward. You just jump a ton of times. This level is longer than most other levels, being at around like 30 seconds instead of the usual 20, 23, 22. This middle segment here, it's not hard, but it's just, you're just spamming space a bunch, so it's easy to get off time. You take a few corner clips, you go over here. That's one issue as well. When you're jumping on most ramp platforms in this game, I've tended to observe is that there's the surface you're intended to run on, and then right at the edge of that surface is another surface that slopes downward. And for some reason, this game's engine decides that when you're running on something and it's a surface, it locks you onto that surface, which is why instead of actually, jumping off, I timed my space press wrong and ended up falling off after 2/3 of the stage. That's my cat, Gus. Yeah, he says hi. So, yeah, that's why it's important to know when to jump. Especially, it really sucks, these deaths, because they're almost at the end of the stage, which means you lost a lot more time than what is usual. So yeah, as you can see, the left timer is now about 30 seconds ahead. Calm down. Come here. So anyways, yeah, so this, you can see the left, so I was doing way better because I hadn't died anywhere yet on this run individually. Now, for some reason, during this segment, a lot of the runs I had were like, it's kind of like a sine wave. I'm not going to put a graphic up, but it's like I would do very well, almost reaching my PB, and then I would kind of get a mid-run, and then I'd do horribly, and then I'd get another mid-run, then I'd do well again. So you're going to be seeing the timer jumping around pretty sporadically in the later parts of this segment. And so, yeah, level 9, again, really straightforward level, really simple, easy level. And you jump on level 10. The first, 15 levels are super simple. Yeah, you're just jumping on platforms. Those platforms have various themes to them. Like, obviously, this is based on a fucking city. This level also used to have a glitch, the same one as level 6, where If you time your space bars right, like almost perfectly right, you'd be able to literally jump on the floor. Like, you know how the floor would usually kill you? Well, for some reason in these stages it wouldn't kill you when you did that, but I believe the developer verse patched that out. And so I have two cats, right? I have an orange cat and well, it's not really my cat, but it's a gray cat. And the problem is that the orange cat likes to harass the gray cat. So whenever my sister's gray cat is fucking roaming the house, my orange cat likes to attack her. So we have to have him, and so I'm hanging out with him right now in this room, and I'm trying to pet him. So sorry, it's stupid fucking explanation. Sorry if that's convoluted, but that's basically the situation. I missed commentating 11. 11's a straightforward level. So is 12. 12's pretty simple. You just run and jump on the fucking platforms. Again, difficulty's not really big here. You're on level 13. This is, I think, based on like a garden. I really don't fucking know. So you're just running on the walls. You can do a little clip there. Probably clip, more like skip there, corner cut there. And yeah, it's mostly just right now, it's just simple gameplay, knowing when to hold W, when to stop holding it, when to hit spacebar. This is the first major skip of the run right here. So this platform is tangible. You can run on the platform, and you can just climb up it and wrap around that one. And right there, I almost screwed up, but I didn't. So you can wrap to the other platform, which is what I'd like to call ramp wrapping, because it's two ramps and you're wrapping over. And then you get to the platform, you ran over to the portal, and you get to level 15. Pretty simple, easy way to take off more than half of that level's time, as you'd go from a 27-second level to a 13-second. But this level is the last sort of easier one. You're just doing a bunch of random corner slips, ramp jumps. Come here, guys. Come here. So, anyway, this is the first level where it's not really difficult, but it's not as easy as it was before. Clearly, this was my July 4th run, because I'm all out in America and shit. And yeah, just running, These platforms are probably the hardest in the entire level, just because you have to make sure you time your jump sufficiently. When you get here, you just go on the side, you don't have any chance of falling down, and you do a good ramp jump right there, get some height. You go over here. This is where I like to demonstrate. So whenever you're jumping off a ramp, it's always good to just move your mouse. So I don't really know how to phrase it, but it's like flicking your wrist. So you flick your wrist and it makes you jump higher. I have no clue why it does that, but it just does, and it works. So that's what you do when you're trying to gain more height from a jump. It works sometimes, other times it doesn't work. As you can see, we're still about 30 seconds ahead in this run, so we're still about 30 seconds behind. I mean, look at the right timer. The right timer is over 30 seconds behind the left timer. So that one death in level 7 really affected things for this segmented run. This ramp as well is a minor skip. You can skip a few platforms by surmounting that ramp. So you get over here. Again, this is uncharacteristically, in my opinion, a pretty easy level in a little cluster of somewhat more difficult levels. Interestingly, I think it's built exactly like level 9, but just with a ton of walls. I think that's the point of most of the kingdom levels you see in the teens. They're just structured exactly like their 1 through 10 counterparts, except they have a ton of walls there. Anyways, here's the moon level. Again, pretty simple level. Just don't jump on that ramp and you'll be good. So you jump over here. Another minor skip right here. And skip that platform. Doesn't really do much. So once again, you're running. You're just speed running. Interestingly, we're not as far. Yeah. So, this was definitely during a trial period, because I was definitely not doing good here. In fact, the left timer for this run is actually behind our current segmented timer. So, yeah, this run was really fucking bad. Clearly. Gus, come here. No? Okay. So another minor skip right there. You jump off the dollar bill. Run through this level. You jump on all those platforms. Now, this is actually noticed. This is when I was running with my laptop. And this was because I went on vacation recently to Maui. I actually just got back home, and so most of these levels now are going to be ran with my laptop. And early on, I wasn't good at running with my laptop, so you'll notice a lot of the mouse movements are more fluid than they were in the previous levels. That's because I was actually using my laptop's mouse pad instead of an actual mouse, which is pretty funny. So now we're on to level 23. Again, not very difficult. It's just that this level's pretty long, so dying on it is obviously not good. Especially dying late in this stage, because again, it's a long fucking stage. Yes, come here. It's among the longest in the game. I believe it's, in terms of, I think, 45 is the longest, followed by this stage, and this stage is followed by 7. This stage is pretty long as well. So yeah, level 24. Again, uncharacteristically, this level is like piss easy. I don't know why it's so damn simple, but it is. It's just some ramp jumps. I mean, these platforms aren't even that small. There's not a lot of wide jumps. You just have to jump at the right time. So yep, we're over halfway through the game now. You can see we're on level 25, which is, you know, it's a pretty simple level. It's not terribly easy, but it's a simple level nonetheless. Keep going. Yeah, you can avoid, I didn't notice this beforehand, but on those little cluster, you can avoid jumping there, and you're able to go a bit faster. So yeah, already on level 25. Oh, did I say level 25? Oh yeah, no, I meant level 26. This is level 26. This is where the game begins to get a bit harder, which is pretty bad considering when it was a 30 level game, this was already, you were already more than 5/6 of the game in, so, you know, difficult. I mean, again, though, it's not really too harsh, just the platforms are kind of smaller than usual. Then you got the Candyland, which is, this level begins the hardest 3 levels in the entire game, in my opinion. This begins it. A lot of people get stuck here when they're playing for the first time. And obviously it's because, not even because of the platforms or how small, it's because of those ice cream cone platforms. A lot of them are perfect spheres, which is not something you've seen in the game yet. And so they operate far different from most other platforms within the game. You got more spheres, you can jump in the portal. You got this cloud level again. Ooh. Go. So yeah, this cloud level is, it's not really difficult because of the platforming or the gaps and jumps. It's mostly because the clouds are deceiving. They look like they're going to be lumpy terrain, but if you look at them, I think on any different dimension, probably the moon dimension, you'll see that they're actually just flat, square, rectangular platforms. So it's easy to get mixed up on where you're actually jumping, and it's easy to fall right into the wall of a cloud instead of on top. As you can see, this is the hardest level in the game, in my opinion, level 29. Nearly every platform is really skinny and long, and so you have to make sure, obviously, your mouse is in perfect locked-in formation. And I've seen people, like, even run on the edge of these platforms, and it's really cool to see. And so, yeah, this is when I was going slower because, again, I sucked at using the laptop, so I wasn't able to run really quickly. Looks like we get out of here with only 1 death, though, and it was in the early part of the level, so not too bad. Now, this is where the game's difficulty drops off. Like, I have no clue why. These levels were just added in. The first 29 you've probably seen before. If you're a new viewer, you probably haven't seen these stages yet, though. So these stages are this is the beginning of the new 15 stages that Verse added into the game only a few months ago, and the reception was absolutely terrible. Obviously, as you can probably tell, or can't, I don't know, a lot of the textures here are made with an AI, which is honestly kind of disappointing because, like, I mean, this game isn't really convoluted much, so I don't see why you'd need to use an AI. And it's even more disappointing because if you look at Verse's game group, he literally owns a game about making art. I'm not fucking kidding. You can check right now. So anybody from that game, he could have just hired to make the textures, but he didn't. So these levels kind of just look more soulless than the other 30. But bitching about the newer levels aside, a bunch of people have already done that. These levels are obviously way easier than the previous 3, which I think is pretty disappointing. It's just, like, you're just after level 25, you get into finally some interestingly difficult levels. And then obviously level 30, which is now level 45. It wasn't that difficult, but it was the ending level. It was like the celebration of the game. I just died here. So it's really disheartening to see that he didn't expand on making the levels more difficult and instead just made AI slop easy stages. That honestly could have just been their own dimension aside from the classic 30, but no, they were shoehorned in. So anyways, this level again isn't difficult at all. I just fail the jump because it's a long jump, and sometimes I fail it. So you jump up here, you can jump on that ramp, and you go on that little tiny block. You have to try to jump on the highest corner possible. That's the best way you have of making it. So on the Pickle Temple now, again, you can see these platforms are way bigger. Even these ones right here, they're way bigger than the ones in level 29. So yeah, you jump off of here, you go right there, blah blah blah. You know, you just do the fucking level. See, here's another one, 34. Now this level does actually have some difficulty to it, but it's not anything because the platforming itself is difficult. Now if you notice on the edges of these platforms, you'll see these like weird bumpy spike formations. Now, the problem is that it differs from level 28. Now level 28's clouds are bumpy, but they're still, you know, straight platforms. You can still easily run on them. There's no problem with that whatsoever. The game's physics are not going to have a problem because the game's physics is made for straight platforms. Now, especially if you look at this level, you'll notice that the platforms are way lumpier even than the ones in the previous level. And so what that causes with the game's physics is that when you run on these platforms, the game says, oh, you're running up a hill, so it puts you up higher. So you'll probably see right about here, there's going to be at least one point. I'll just let it play, hopefully it happens. It did not fucking okay, so there's going to be a point where the game boots your character up high, but not high enough to clear a jump. It only puts you a little bit up high. So what happens is that you're running on these small platforms, and you're trying to jump from platform to platform while holding W. So you're going to get bounced up. And you're not bounced up enough to make it, but you're also not able to jump because the game reads you as being in the air, so you can't jump. And so you just run off and die because the game thought you already jumped when you didn't jump, and you're not jumping height. So that's really the biggest annoyance of most of these newer stages. 35 is pretty bad. The one that we just saw, 36, isn't too bad. I'd say it's the best stage out of all of these just because, you know, you can't see the textures, so it doesn't look like shit. But this level's pretty solid as well. It's not extremely simple, but it's also not very hard either. Definitely not harder than 29 even. Now this level actually is the other major skip of the game. You see that small plat. You can skip literally the entire level from here because you can walk on the dragon. The dragon does not kill you. And you can just run up the dragon, and it spans the entire stage. This is the very end of the stage, and boom, you just jumped right from the early platforms to the end platforms. This skip typically takes around 18 seconds. Whole level, I honestly forget because I've been doing it for so long, but the whole level, I believe, is somewhere around like 24 to 27 seconds. So obviously it shaves off quite a bit of time. So you're running. This stage is not bad either. I like the fact that he included these smaller platforms near the end. These are the most difficult platforms to traverse since level 29, which is not good because it's been 10 levels since we had small platforms, and we're immediately back to the not difficult because it's made for a platformer, but difficult because the platforms themselves are bumpy, and that's not really difficulty, that's just shit level design. So yeah, I actually try to use a lot of the bumps here to get higher jumps. The same ramp jumps I was talking about earlier. So we can jump right onto the island, onto this branch. I apologize if you can hear any more noise. There's somebody mowing their lawn right now at 8:08 p.m. for some reason. But yep, you're on a. This is the birthday cake level. This is my least favorite level in the game because again, like that, as you saw right there, as I was talking about, it bounces you up a bit high. So obviously you're gonna fucking die because I thought I would be able to jump when I was not able to jump. So you'll see right here, Obviously, that's a bit of a higher bounce, but still would not be high enough to make it from that platform to the next platform. So yeah, this is again a level that's just egregiously bad because it has shit platform design with terrible platform texturing. Now this is actually uncharacteristically good because, as you can see, the platforms are once again complete rectangles. And despite the fact that the textures make it look like a soulless AI slot level, it still actually functions as a flat level. So, as you can see, I'm much more confident in this level and in this run than I was previously because it's easier to traverse the platforms. We just approached the 20-minute mark here. This level, again, has really flat platforms, so it's easy to run on. Clearly I was doing really well in this run because we were only at 18 minutes, which is almost a minute and a half ahead of what we're at this current timer right here. So we just continue throughout the stage, obviously. This is the second to final level of the game. Oh, this is a funny run. So I was actually, as I was saying, I was mass producing speedruns. And so somebody had actually commented to me telling me that I should try to include the game's music. And that was a good idea, so I told him I'd try to do that. And he had actually replied to that comment during the run. So, yeah, good shout out to this guy for giving me a good idea. So yeah, now we're at the final level of the game. That also, sorry, I forgot to talk. That level we just saw had the third major skip, which is going on that center display instead of the real level. Again, takes you from almost the beginning to kind of middle to the end. So yeah, this is the final level of the game. As you can see, it is the former level 30, now level 45. It's a pretty good finished level. Obviously, you have the iconic spiral staircase where you have to spam jump while also moving your mouse so far to the right that it feels like you're about to pull your damn arm. Because we're about to be on time. So yeah, let's see how long this segmented run turns out to be. Alright, good 21:52:05. So yeah, that actually wasn't terrible for a segmented run, to be honest. I thought, I had a lot more deaths in this segment. I feel like I had a lot more bad runs in this segment. Really, I didn't. It's just that relative, the runs were pretty bad. And so, essentially, been talking a lot. So, the runs were just like a lot more inconsistent. Like the first segment, I had some pretty good runs, pretty terrible runs, pretty good runs. This segment was all over the place, obviously. I had good runs, bad runs, mid runs, any runs. And so it made this segment a lot more, I guess, all over the place than the previous one was, which is pretty fine, but it reflects a pretty, mid time of just barely sub 22, which isn't really all that good considering my PB is a 20-minute, 20-second, almost sub 20. And so yeah, but I'd say it was a pretty decent segment. Hoping at least not to take a 20-minute day, 20-day break from this segment. The third segment. So it'll encompass the run I'm about to do right now, which is run 91, all the way up to day 135. So yeah. All right, well. If you're somehow here, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this little segmented run. And yeah, have a great day. Hope to see you wherever.